Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for this is your October bonus reading. You start with this conjunction card. It says Alliance. You have this Pluto card. It says Rebirth on it. Yeah, Pluto goes direct this month. It's been retrograde since about May. And you definitely could be one of the signs that picks up on that energy of Pluto going direct. And it could lead to a rebirth. I think that also, obviously, having Neptune and Saturn in your sign is a pretty big deal and can definitely lead to some changes in your life. Both those planets will be retrograde in Pisces by the middle of the month. You know, Saturn already is in Pisces, but Neptune will be retrograde in Pisces in the middle. So you could definitely be noticing some changes. Now, whenever we have like major planets come into our sign and then retrograde out, it kind of allows us to, clear things up from the past, or, allows us to get our story straight, right? And that's kind of the feeling I get for you here, Aries, is that you are getting your own story straight about like who you want to be, or what you want to do, or what you want to accomplish, or probably what your freaking dream is. 10 of Cups, Star. You have great cards, as always, of working on your dream life. And, again, I think it might be a good time until, basically the end of February, beginning of March, to figure out like what you want to live. You have the Four of Pentacles as your current general energies. The first card, I'm doing a Celtic cross, obviously. And the first card in the Celtic cross is how you're entering in to the reading. I feel pretty good about this because I feel almost like you are trying to balance out pillars in your life. You are trying to balance out multiple things, like having multiple things in your life, like not just business, but or not just money, but also health and happiness and love, even if you want that, right? And so I kind of see this more as like a balancing thing going on here. I don't know, kind of a weird message to get for the Four of Pentacles, but it does make sense. He's in perfect alignment. He has this pentacle over his head and this pentacle over his heart. I always say, one of my favorite people of all time, Greg Braden, says, when your head and your heart become one, you can move mountains. And your next card for your crossing energy, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And there are some mountains right here. You have the Ace of Swords coming up in a little bit. And the Ace of Swords is above the mountains, right? So I kind of feel like you are giving yourself a challenge here. And this could be like a new opportunity that you're thinking about working on, or something new that you think you're going to be doing in your life. Now, I kind of feel that, the crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. And I do feel that there could be some opportunities that you should pay attention to this month. And I know I'm speaking very generally when I say this, but, any opportunities that come your way this month, I would just look at them for a couple extra minutes, right? That might sound stupid, but, at the same time, Aries, you never know. It's like you might look at an opportunity quickly and it might not look like an opportunity, but if you take a little extra time to study any opportunities that come your way, there might be a little more than meets the eye. And that's kind of the energy I'm getting off of this Ace of Pentacles. I don't think it's a bad thing, or even like a challenge or anything bad like that. I just feel the universe is saying hey, I'm trying to give you options here. You have the Seven of Cups in the area of your future feelings, which could be you feeling like you have more options in life. And if you spend some time just thinking about all your options, then, I think good things will happen. And that's really what I feel this card is saying. This month has been surprisingly good for money. I didn't really expect this. I've said this to others, but when I started the readings, if you asked me before I started this set of readings if I thought there would be good money cards, I pretty much would have said no. Not that I think October is a bad month for money. It just looks average to me. But again, there seems to be a lot of financial opportunity, so I would take advantage of it. Next, in the area of your thoughts, you have the Three of Wands. Yes, Aries, expansion. You are definitely thinking about taking up more space in the world. We've talked about this many times before. Jupiter in Cancer in your fourth house. People think of the fourth house as like moving or home and family and things like that, but it could just be you expanding in the world, you taking up more space. Again, as I've said to you before, again with Saturn in your sign, especially next year when it does move back into your sign, being more loud is going to be probably the best thing for you. And we're not talking about in a bad way. We're talking about getting loud in a good way, sharing what you're working on, being willing to take the risk of putting yourself out there more, things like that. Those are the things that are going to cause you to expand. And the more you expand and the more space you take up, the more attention you get, the better. You have the Star, you have the Three of Pentacles. These are all cards of standing out and getting attention. We'll talk about it. But it's probably the best thing that Aries can do. And, again, you want to make sure you're doing this in a positive way. Of course, you want to be standing out for good things, but I think you are. I also feel you are expanding your mind, literally. I feel again, that Seven of Cups and the Four of Pentacles are, for whatever reason, I feel like they're connected in this reading. And I feel it's saying you're expanding your options, even with the Ace of Pentacles, which is probably going to be a good thing. Obviously, having more options is usually a good thing. Not always, but sometimes. Next, in your foundation, you have the King of Pentacles. One of my favorite cards to get in the foundational position because it is a foundational card. It is a card of focusing on having a strong foundation. He's focused on wealth building. I do feel a lot of you are going to be focused on wealth building from now until many years from now. Even in a few years, Saturn is going to move into your second, right? So, once it leaves Aries, it's going to move into Taurus. You've already had Uranus and Taurus in your second house for a long time. Uranus is about to retrograde back into Taurus in the middle of November, right? And so you've had all this like second house triggering energy that's been making you focus on wealth building, how you make money, what you value, focused on like values in general as well. With the King of Pentacles comes up because the King of Pentacles, again, he has these grapes on his cloak here. The grapes on his cloak represent his skills. And so he uses his skills to increase his value. And a lot of you, I think you are kind of revisiting these themes this month, even to the point where, you could be looking at your career this month and saying, does this make me more valuable or not? I don't know. Only you can answer that question. And if it doesn't, you might be making some changes. Maybe you have a career or maybe you have a business that you don't value anymore. And same thing, you could be making some changes in that career to more align with your values. You could be sharing your values more. All these things are very important for Aries. Big themes that you're going to be dealing with because you have all these major planets transiting personal houses. Again, I always tell people it's not just the first house that's a personal house. It's 1 through 3 are basically personal houses. So, again, you have a lot of energy there for years to come. It's going to take Neptune a long ass time to get through your sign. Then it's going to move into Taurus. It's going to take a long ass time there, right? So there you go. Next in your past position, you have this Beyond the Ordinary card and this Deep Breath card. Yeah, I feel you've bumped into a lot of obstacles. You have the Five of Wands here as well. We'll talk about it in a second. But I feel like your path hasn't been ordinary. I feel that, it wouldn't surprise me if many of you, here's a funny thing that pops into my head for you, Aries, is that it wouldn't surprise me if many of you are like very different from your family. Even, that could be one way this could manifest. It's like maybe you've taken a very different path through life. Maybe you consider yourself like the black sheep of the family or something like that. Or maybe the opposite. It's like maybe you're more, I don't know, like traditional or something. Maybe no one in your family went to college and you did. I feel like that the Beyond the Ordinary card is saying that your life has not been ordinary up until this point. But why would you want it to be? That sounds pretty boring. You have the Five of Wands. Again, I feel you're moving past this. You have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is always a sign that we're overcoming obstacles. So you've definitely dealt with some competition. Aries is definitely one of the signs that has dealt with issues with people the most. Kind of like helping people, them not helping you, or even just helping the wrong people. And I do feel over the next couple of years, what you will notice is that you will probably be surrounding yourself with people who level you up more. A lot of the themes in your readings, Aries, have been all about you leveling up. So, I feel you're kind of leaving this energy behind, which is good. And you're stepping in more to an energy of spending time with people who support you or who lift you up. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this long road card. It says, great distances, long wait, patience. You've been very patient. Slow growth, development, pathway, long-term planning, nurture. You have this direction card. It says, uncharted territories, align new experiences, finding your way, inner compass, and exploring and searching, which is what you've probably been doing for a very long period of time. I feel like this is where the rubber meets the road for you, Aries, is like competition. You have that Five of Wands, you have the Star. I feel for some of you, it's like, I get this feeling, you're not the only sign that gets this, but, I don't remember who the other person I said this to was, but, it's almost like you think you've peaked, or there was a peak, and now you think you're down, but I think you need to go back up. It's like that Ace of Swords as well is above the peaks of the mountain. It's not even on the freaking mountain. It's above the mountains, right? And I feel that's what you need to realize is that you have an opportunity, I think, to kind of like, reclaim your crown, whatever you want to call it. Take center stage, I don't care. But whatever it is, I feel that a lot of you are being asked to, kind of, get back to that place, and you can. I think for Aries, it's like belief systems, and speaking of your parents, right? We get a lot of our belief systems from our parents and things like that. Again, Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. For you, it's going to be in your 12th house for most of you. And even if it isn't, I would still treat it as if it is because, again, I think that Pisces energy could be making you think about things from when you were a child. Or you might be noticing that what is preventing you from getting to that next level is things from your childhood or things that you believed. And maybe it has been a long journey, but I don't think the rest of it has to be a long journey. It's all right here, right in front of you. Also, in the very near future, you have the Star card. Yeah, definitely, I think you have a great opportunity to stand out as a star here, Aries. It's funny because I think I always use the example of Aries becoming famous, like mostly as a joke, but maybe it's not a joke, Aries. Maybe you do want to become famous, or maybe you do want to stand out in some way, and I feel now is the time. I also feel you need to start looking for examples. She's pouring this water here onto the earth. This water comes from the pool of universal consciousness. It basically says what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. And it's like maybe you need to make what you are thinking about doing in your life possible. And it changed my life doing that, like realizing what's possible and seeing other people doing stuff and using them as a positive example. And so I think that would be a great thing for you to do with a star. This month, we should definitely be resting, relaxing, recovering. So, if you need a break, take a break. If you need to rest, take a rest, right? And really listen to your body. The star, we have to make sure that we're healing and doing all those other good things for ourselves. Next, in your outcome row, you have this forgiveness card and the celebration card. Yeah, it is a good time for forgiveness. We had that eclipse in Virgo, South Node in Virgo. So it's a great time, I think, for most people to forgive the past and let go and move on. The celebration card, I also think is a great time to have fun, right? I say it all the time, especially because, it's not fun. Things seem very serious right now, at least to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but, again, there's like a very serious vibe. So I think we need to get the pendulum to swing the other way, and we need to bring more good energy down to earth, and that's what I would do with that card. Over the next few months, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is definitely victories and rising above obstacles. The sword is above the mountains, which literally represents overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges, having wins. And I feel that you could be winning over the next few months, really, with the Ace of Swords. Now, with the Ace of Swords, usually we have to cut one thing out so we can have something better. We have this palm frond here, this olive branch over here. The palm fronds in the tarot represent needing to make a sacrifice sometimes, and the olive branch can represent and offer peace, but can also represent abundance. And if there's anything that you need to get rid of, any bad habits, even, the forgiveness card, sometimes I think those forgiveness energies could also be letting go of bad habits or, healing, things like that. I think all that would help you balance out with the Ace of Swords, but definitely could be a big victory coming in for you here. Also seems to me like you are tapping into the authentic energy right now. I feel you're being more authentic. Ace of Swords is the truth, and it's about living your truth. And, it basically says the truth will set you free. Next, in your closest relationships, you have the Three of Pentacles. Like I said, finding people who support your vision, right? These people are supporting what he has done right here. So I feel a lot of you are kind of focusing more on that in all your connections. So not just love, but basically everything. And, you could be finding that you're surrounding yourself with people who really help you level up. He's even on a stool or whatever you call this. A bench is the word I'm looking for. So I feel a lot of you could be doing that. This could also be you needing to get more attention. He is putting his work on display. And I feel whatever you do for work, it might be a good time to show off, get attention, all that other stuff. I kind of feel this is going to continue for a long ass time because Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius is kind of like the star. Wants us to be an inspiration to other people, wants us to show off for the right reasons, things like that. You have the Seven of Cups. Again, I feel pretty good about this. I kind of go back and forth on the Seven of Cups. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes maybe not so much. But I feel you are giving yourself a lot of options, like I said, with that Four of Pentacles, or you're increasing your options in life, which is good. And yeah, I would explore options, like whatever you're trying to accomplish. There are probably other ways of doing it. Just see what happens, right? See how things go, and be willing to explore. I would also explore your dreams. The Seven of Cups can be a card of your dream, your fantasy, or some sort of something that you think would be fulfilling in your life. Your last card is the Ten of Cups, which is fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. But they are also dreaming of these 10 cups. So these 10 cups need to come down to earth so that you can live a fulfilling life, or so that you can experience more fulfillment. And that is definitely what I would focus on with the Ten of Cups. I also feel there could be a little bit of love here. Not really a love reading, but again, you do have the Ten of Cups, which could be you finding a person that you could have a family with in the future. So that looks good as well. But let's see. I would say for love, I would take up more space, right? Like I would make sure you're putting yourself out there. With the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Five of Wands. Yes, there are limitations that you need to crush here, Aries. I feel these are mental. I feel that some of you need to, it's kind of like you need to, I don't even think this is confidence, but maybe a little bit of confidence, maybe a little bit of, kind of getting back to work type of energy here, especially if there are people who are outshining you in your career or your business or whatever you do. I think it would be a great time for you to like buckle down and to say like, okay, I'm gonna get back on top. That's what I want to say about this reading is like you are maybe deciding to do something to get back on top. It's almost like you're taking things more seriously, but not in a bad way. I feel pretty good about this, Aries. Like, is it a good feeling? Maybe not for you. Again, if you're seeing, if you have a business or career or whatever, and you're seeing other people blow past you, it's like maybe it's not a great feeling, but I would use it as motivation. With the Three of Wands, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, progress. Whatever, if you're looking at an opportunity, I would jump on it with that Three of Wands. The Knight of Pentacles, he's kind of just standing here. He's not doing anything. Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the tarot that isn't making a move, but he has these empty fields behind him, and he could easily plant seeds in those fields and they would grow. So the Three of Wands, he's looking at these boats on the ocean, and he would have to do something different, or he would have to go somewhere different to find success. So those boats are going somewhere he doesn't know where they're going. And so I feel for a lot of you, it's like facing that fear of the unknown might be a little bit of a boost for you. It'll probably lead to more success. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles. I was literally going to say my other favorite card for the foundation is Four of Pentacles. So pretty good. Again, this could say that you are in alignment. Like I said, head and the heart have to be in alignment for you to move mountains. But it really does kind of look like you are moving mountains this month, or at least you're starting to. And, these could be like little blockages or obstacles that you're overcoming. But they could have like a big impact on your life. So I really do like it. Let's see. With the Five of Wands, you have the High Priestess. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm like getting more hope in a prayer. I feel, she represents intuition, mysteries, looking behind the curtain, things like that. But just like intuitively, the message I'm getting here with that Five of Wands is like, I feel like you're no longer doing things on a hope and a prayer. It's like you're doing things more on purpose, which I'm a big fan of. So, instead of just doing things randomly, I feel you're doing things with more of a purpose. I really do feel this is mostly talking about work. Even if you're retired, you could be working on, and even if you're not, you could be working on something personal like your health or your business. But I do get this like serious energy. I said it a minute ago, where it's almost like nowadays, or maybe this month, you're taking things a little bit more seriously. You're putting a little bit more of a purpose behind what you're doing, or, it's like maybe you're coming up with better plans, like I said on that Three of Pentacles, or or maybe I didn't say that, I might be making that up, but the lady on the Three of Pentacles is holding plans. They're following a plan. And so instead of just like being like, oh, I'm just gonna, start this thing in my life. I feel you're doing it with more of a purpose. I hope that makes sense. With the Star card here, you have the Ace of Pentacles. There you go. This could be an opportunity you've been hoping for, Aries. Kind of like a big chance or a big opportunity. I do feel like this is a chance you're taking in some ways. It's like you might be deciding to commit to something that doesn't have an outcome, right? There are those mountains in the background. Maybe you are working towards something where it's like, yeah, it's going to be a challenge to do it, like start a business or improve your health or get into a relationship. But I also feel maybe you're in a position where you're more willing to face the challenge, which is good. I also feel the Star is basically saying you're prepared. The thing about the Star is it's a card of getting a bird's eye view. It's a card of zooming out of your life. I always say one of the best things we can do with the Star is look at our life and look at everything we've accomplished. Because if we want to accomplish something new or something that seems hard, if we look at all the accomplishments we have, it'll probably make it easier because we'll be like, oh, I've already accomplished a lot of these things, right? And so maybe that would be a good activity with this card. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Three of Swords. Didn't I say something about forgiveness? Yeah, you have that card of forgiveness here. Three of Swords is about forgiveness. Those three swords are in your heart. And, the trick with the Three of Swords is to forgive situations, yourself, people, places, things in your life so that you can move forward. But you have to remove those swords from your own heart so that you can heal. And I would definitely do that with this card. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. It's also my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? So you could be, Three of Pentacles is a card of teamwork, showing up in the area of your closest relationships. And you could be deciding, like, if people are worth working with or not, or you could be finding better people to work with just in general with this Seven of Pentacles. And that could be the change you're making. Definitely a work change here for you, Aries. I'm not saying that you're, like, quitting your job as always or quitting your career. As a matter of fact, I think I say to you all the time, Aries, like, you are the only sign where I really don't feel you are quitting your job. Like, all the other signs I think could be, absolutely getting new jobs and things like that. I see it more as either like an upgrade or you are doing something very, very similar to what you're doing now, but maybe in a different way. And, that could be the change you're making, but probably to get more juice, right? Probably to have more success or to improve your finances, which is good. And with the Seven of Cups, you have the Two of Wands. Yeah, Two of Wands is really about taking the lead. It is also about variety, and the Seven of Cups is variety. So we were talking earlier about you giving yourself more chances. With the Two of Wands, he's already built a castle. He's already built something, and it stands on its own. He has this wand back here that's done, and he's reaching forward to this new wand with the whole world in his hands. The card itself basically says you've already built one thing. Now it's time to build your next thing, which can be scary because it's like, if you have something like some sort of success in your life and you want to build something bigger, it's like, am I going to lose that thing I've already built? The answer is no. It's going to, it'll stick around. It's going to stay there. I think Aries definitely needs to know that they're not starting from scratch, right? You're starting from something secure. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Page of Pentacles. I do feel a little bit of love. Like, is it a big theme in this month? No, I don't think so. But if you want love, it's definitely here. Page of Pentacles can be a new person, can be new communication. Definitely could be an earth sign, could be any sign, general reading. But if you want love, I feel you could be, at least communicating with a new person this month, which probably would be good for you, Aries, if you want it. So I do like to see that. Next, you have this shield card. It says you need to defend yourself. I actually wouldn't defend yourself, although that doesn't mean you shouldn't have boundaries and things like that, right? So we need to have boundaries right now. The problem with the time that we're in is we had Mars retrograde at the beginning of the year in Leo. We just had Mercury go retrograde in Leo. Next year, Jupiter goes retrograde in Leo. Whenever we have like that happen, it basically is calling back the original energy, Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde, always a bad time to defend yourself because you just look guilty. And so it's like actually better to not defend yourself or to not, if someone's talking about you or something, it's better to just ignore it. And, that's what I'll say there. You have this teardrops card. It says great personal sorrow. I don't know. It looks like a pretty happy, even your next card says happiness on it. It's like, yeah, there could be some things that you're sad about. I think a lot of people right now, nowadays, could be sad that things aren't the way they used to be, so you could be sad about some of those things. You have this happiness card. That's what I would focus on. Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is the card of happiness. It's the card of choosing happiness as well. It's a card of doing things that make you happy. If you don't know what makes you happy, I would definitely find something. You know, I would do something in your life to find happiness. And yeah, it's like we all have to start somewhere, so I would. You have this knot card. It says unsuccessful plans. I think this is your past. You know, we talked about plans in this reading. The lady holding plans on the Three of Pentacles. And I feel you need to, maybe your past plans weren't successful because you just did whatever. It's like now I feel you're much more serious about an opportunity, or you're much more serious about something that's going to be happening for you. Can't make this up. You have this eagle card, says triumph over obstacles. The entire reading, Ace of Swords, is triumph over obstacles, right? So I definitely feel you could be overcoming some obstacles this month, or that could be the main theme of the reading as well. But this looks really good, Aries. Love it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.